So I have a lovely technique video for you on the Clique Kits channel today. I'm going to be playing with these stamps. So these are the Kaiser Craft stamps that came in the Traveler's Notebook kit. I'm going to start with this background. So this is one of the papers that came in the main kit, and I'm cutting it down to 8.5 by 11. So I thought it'd be really fun to show you how to create 3 different types of backgrounds. I'm not going to make them perfect, and I'm actually going to show you some strategies for fixing a huge mistake, because I'm going to make one. So I decided that for this technique video, I wanted to show you ways to use your stamps with a minimum of supplies. So while I have a stamp platform and I highly recommend them, I am going to be doing these backgrounds with an acrylic block. The first background, I'm just going to use black ink because I want to show you that you don't need any special colors or anything to do a stamped background. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to ink up my stamp with VersaFine ink, and then I'm just going to stamp a floral border down the side of my page, and I'm going to mess it up. So I'm inking up different parts of the stamp, making sure there's no white space. And the way I'm going to do that is I'm just wiping the ink off the parts of the stamp that I don't want to stamp, and I'm just using a baby wipe. Easy peasy. So here's mistake number 1 that commonly occurs. You stamp it, it's a little off. You think, oh, I can just put more stamp ink on it, and it doesn't work. We've all been there. I'm sure we've also all flipped the ink pad up and upended it onto our table. So, see, I am just like all of you stampers. I really am. The only thing that's different between people who are trying to stamp and feel horrible at stamping and me is that because I've made so many mistakes doing stamps, I've learned how to cover them up, right? Okay, so I'm going to continue on here, and I'm just stamping this whole background border piece. I'm going to put a little bit at the top there. Actually, I think I kind of decided not to. I decided it would be a little too much. So how am I going to fix these 2 stamped images that I totally messed up on? How do we fix them? Okay, we're going to fix them the super duper easy way. I'm going to grab a piece of white scrap cardstock, and I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to stamp my image in black ink on the white cardstock. This particular kit that I'm working with is white based, so I know that when I start to layer die cuts and things on them, the white will be fine. The white will work well. If the line I was working with or the papers that I was working with are cream based, I would probably have used a piece of scrap cream colored cardstock, but this collection is white based, so we're good. Now, I'm just going to fussy cut these out. I'm going to pop dot them, and I'm going to place them right over my stamped images. If you know how to color, if you like to color, if you have a coloring medium, go ahead and color these stamped images. But if you don't, black and white is fine, especially if you're going to be layering and putting other things around the layout that will be white based. So I know already, okay, I'm going to end up with these white flowers on the bottom left of my layout. I want to balance it. I want to make sure that it's not obvious that those 2 flowers were mistakes and that I can balance the layout. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take another stamp. This is a butterfly. I'm going to stamp 3 of them up at the top, and then I'm going to stamp 1 on white cardstock. So when I'm ready to sit down and complete this finished layout, I'm going to have the 2 flowers at the bottom left and 1 white butterfly at the top right. So that if I feel like coloring them, I can, but if I don't, it's still going to balance this layout and it'll still look totally fine. So that's the first background we're going to work on today. The second background, I'm going to use some colored inks. These are Distress Oxide inks that I color matched, that match the Pick Me Up collection that is in the Traveler's Notebook kit. So you get a 6x6 paper pad, or half a 6x6 paper pad. And the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to draw some guidelines. Why am I drawing guidelines? Because I cannot stamp a straight line to save my life, and I know that. But I want to create some stripes on this page, and so to do that, I'm going to do guidelines. And as long as I keep my stamping between those guidelines that I have drawn, I know that I have a fairly good chance of having fairly perfect stamped stripes. So I am using Distress Oxide in Fossilized Amber, Seedless Preserves, Worn Lipstick, and Broken China. But you could use any kind of ink that you have and any color that you have to do this technique with the stamp. So the stamp that I pulled from the collection it looks like a piece of torn polka dot washi. Really cute, really fun. And I'm just creating these stripes across the top of my page. And because I have those guidelines there, while they're still wonky and they're not perfect, they're better than if I had tried to do this without the guidelines. I promise you. They're just a help. And I don't mind if they look a little off, and I don't mind them if they look a little wonky, and I don't want them to be absolutely perfect. But at the same time, I don't want my line to be like going downhill and all crooked. So for the bottom of this background, I'm going to take that same washi stamp. I'm going to wipe it with a baby wipe and dry it off. Make sure when you wipe it with a baby wipe, if you're cleaning your stamps in between colors, what you want to do is you want to wipe them off with a baby wipe and then just run your finger over them to get any extra moisture off, because you don't want them to be wet when you add your next ink, especially if you're using a distress ink, because those are all water reactive. So I'm now just adding, you can see here, making another strip. This one doesn't require a guideline. And I'm making it kind of look like just the other direction, that it's coming up from the top. And now that that is done, I can go ahead. This is a Tombow Mono Sand Eraser, which I highly recommend for erasing pencil marks. Next technique is going to be a little more involved, just ever so slightly. So I'm going to use my same three colors of Distress Oxide ink. I decided to toss the blue out for this particular background. And I'm just taking the ink pad directly to the paper and creating these like upward stripes. I'm using Distress Oxides. You could use any inks you would like. I have done this exact same technique with just mini inks, Distress mini inks. So I had this idea, and I knew it could work, but I had to figure out how, and here's how. So you need a mini mister, and you want to spray the mini mister over the top of the stamp and then kind of like wet the stamp, but so that the stamp isn't terribly wet. So what is going to happen is you're kind of doing a reverse stamping, and it works because Distress Oxides, like Distress inks, are very water reactive. So this is a really subtle look, but you can kind of see there the flowers that I've stamped. So all three of these backgrounds that we made are going to coordinate with the new March Malama kit. And I'm not going to complete a layout on this video, just showing you how I created my stamping backgrounds. If you want to see the finished layouts that go with these backgrounds, be sure to follow my channel on YouTube, and one of them will be up on the blog at the Clique Kits blog on Saturday. And I'm also going to use one for my pep rally design, which will also have a process video on my channel. So I just wanted to use this video to show you how to use this stamp in a number of different ways to create fun backgrounds for your pages. And I hope you've enjoyed my technique video today. Please be sure to check out the new March kits, the Traveler's Notebook kit, which contains this stamp. Have a wonderful day, and I will see you again soon. Bye!